ঠাকুর, মা ও স্বামীজির প্রণাম মন্ত্র। ওম স্থাপকায় চ ধর্মস্য সর্বধর্ম স্বরূপিণে অবতার বরিষ্ঠায় রামকৃষ্ণায় তে নমঃ। জননীং শারদং দেবীং রামকৃষ্ণং জগদ্গুরুং পাদপদ্মে তয় স্তुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरे सच्चित् सुखो स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तपहारिणे। জয় ঠাকুর, জয় মা, জয় স্বামীজি। আমার প্রণাম নেবেন মহারাজ।
Thank you, Swam. Thank you so much. Swamiji is a renowned spiritual leader, teacher, and philosopher who has dedicated his life to spreading the message of peace, wisdom, and compassion to people all over the world. Swamiji is a beacon of light who has inspired millions of people to live a meaningful life and attain spiritual enlightenment. As we know that Ishadhyananandaji Swami is an assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of Sacramento since August 2017. Before coming of America, the Swami served the order as the honorary treasurer of Bistipur Ramakrishna Mission in Jamshedpur, India, Jharkhand, from September 2013 to June 2017. Prior to that, he was posted at the Belur Math headquarters office from March 2008 to September 2013. Swami Ishadhyananandaji joined the Ramakrishna order in 2002. He was initiated by Srimad Swami Atmasthanandaji, the 15th president of the Ramakrishna order, and received his final monastic vows from his guru in 2012. Before joining the order, during his college and university days, Swami Ishadhyananandaji remained in close contact with the monks of the Ramakrishna order. Throughout his monastic life, Swami Ishadhyanananda has contributed articles to various journals of the Ramakrishna order. Apart from Ramakrishna Vedanta literature, the Swami also enjoys a keen interest in philosophy, positive psychology, neuroscience, and current ideas that are shaping our world today. We are honored to have Swamiji here with us today, and we look forward to learning from his wisdom and insights. His teachings are a source of inspiration, and we are delighted to have the opportunity to listen to him speak. Swamiji has spent many decades spreading love, kindness, and spirituality across the world. His knowledge and insights are invaluable, and we are fortunate to have him here to share his wisdom with us. We extend a warm welcome to Swami Ishadhyananandaji. Your presence here today is a blessing, and we are grateful for the opportunity to hear your words of wisdom. So, Maharajji, please, you can deliver your valuable speech by the grace of Holy Trinity. Namaskar. Maharaj.
Thank you. Namaskar. I'm so happy to meet people I have already known. Many of you I have already known for many years when I was in Jamshedpur, and it's a pleasure to see you, all of you. One problem here is this is the first time I am giving a talk on Google Meet. So there may be some technical problems. I don't know. You have to tell me if I am doing things right or not, because we are here used to using Zoom. I give my classes on Zoom. So that could be one problem. I don't know how to, I'm not very much accustomed to using Google Meets. So let me know in chat box or whatever way if I am doing right. Secondly, yes, Sacramento, some of you know, some of you may not know. It's a wonderful city. This is the capital of California. Capital of California. And a wonderful city, just 1 hour away from San Francisco. And that is also, we may say, 1 hour away from the Silicon Valley. And if I drive just 45 minutes, I will reach mountain full of snows. If I drive 1.5 hours, I will reach Pacific Ocean. Such is the beautiful place here. And today weather is wonderful, spring. As I told, temperature outside is 9 degrees and bright sunshine. When I went to India last time, during the Durga Puja time, I met Simadi and she requested me to give talk. And but we have 2 times in California, in fact in the entire US, winter time and summer time. In winter time, this time, what is 7:30 p.m. for you would have been 6 a.m. for us. And 6 a.m. here in winter means very dark, almost midnight. It was not possible for me to give the talk in winter. And from April, we are having summertime. And now it is 7 a.m. here, 7:30 to be precise. So, and sun is up by 6. So I chose to speak in summertime. That's why I'm very thank Meena Didi for giving me such an introduction, such a great introduction about me. And I apologize for not speaking in Bengali. The reason I told already that when I was in India, I never had to give a talk. My first public talk was here in English. And for the last 6 years, I have been giving talk in English only. So I feel comfortable in giving talks in English. But as Meenadi requested me to also speak in Bengali, I shall try to, mix both the languages as far as I can. All right. So today's topic is a checklist for our spiritual progress. We all of us know here about checklist, right? A list of things to do, and we check them. This is done, this is done, this is done. Especially here in America, most of the people when they go to the grocery store to purchase things, they take a checklist because the grocery stores here are huge grocery stores, and they display the things in such a way that you might forget why you came, what were the things you wanted to purchase, and you end up purchasing a lot more than you really needed. So many, including myself, carry a checklist when I go to the grocery store to purchase things. That is, I have done this, I have purchased this, I have purchased that, and now a few more things needed to be purchased. That is called checklist. For us, the spiritual aspirants, the question often arises in the mind of sincere spiritual seekers: are we progressing spiritually? Are we progressing? Because how should we know that we are progressing? What are the signs that we are making spiritual progress? So I thought, let's make a checklist that we can keep the checklist handy in front of us, and from time to time look on them and decide for ourselves whether we are progressing, how far we are progressing. Is not it good to have an objective criteria to have some idea about our spiritual progress? Is not it? So a checklist. Can we have a checklist for our spiritual progress? For that, we shall take the help of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, which is called the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita. Here, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna the chief means of bhakti in the first 10 verses. But even though Arjuna did not ask Sri Krishna himself on his own started speaking about the traits or qualities or virtues of an ideal devotee, a perfect devotee. In 7 verses, verse number 13 to verse number 19, in these 7 verses, Sri Krishna speaks about 39 virtues, 39 traits of an ideal devotee. Uttama Bhakta, a devotee who has reached their goal. These 39 traits or virtues. And in these 7 verses, Sri Krishna says 5 times, Sacha Bhakta me priya, such a devotee is dear to me. Those who exhibit such qualities, those who have this kind of traits. So, these traits, qualities can serve for us as our checklist for our spiritual progress, which is natural for a perfect devotee, should be our practice. In 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we find that Arjuna asks the question to Sri Krishna, Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha, samadhistasya kesava. That is, how can I identify a person who is Sthita pragya, samadhista, that is one who has reached their spiritual goal. How can we identify such a person? Through which qualities I can know that here is an illumined person. Then in the commentary of that verse, Acharya Shankara said something very important, very wonderful. He says that whatever in the whole world, in all the spiritual literature, we find that whatever is natural for an illumined person, for a perfect devotee, that are the practice for a spiritual aspirant. Whatever is natural for them is told so that we can practice those virtues. So these 39 virtues or qualities or traits that Sri Krishna speaks about, Sri Krishna says these are the traits of an ideal devotee, of a great devotee, of a perfect devotee, can serve for us. It can serve 2 purposes. One is, these are for us to practice these qualities. And second purpose is, we can also check how far we are able to exhibit these qualities in our life. By that, we can understand how far we are progressing in our spiritual journey. So, 39 virtues, I am not going to speak about 39 virtues. This is 39 virtues one by one, but if we arrange them, if we just arrange those verses and qualities, we find a wonderful picture comes out, and which serves also a practical purpose. We find in these 7 verses, Sri Krishna is actually speaking about how an ideal devotee behaves with others, people, their attitude to people, others. Secondly, what is their attitude to material things, stuff, material things which we need. And thirdly, what is their attitude or what is their state of mind in different circumstances, whether it is good circumstances or bad circumstances, favorable circumstances, unfavorable circumstances, how those ideal devotees deal with such situations. So all of these are important for us also to know how to behave with people, others. What should be our attitude to things, material things, jinish, what we, bishar, how we should deal with bishar. And thirdly, in different circumstances, বিভিন্ন পরিস্থিতিতে একজন আইডিয়াল ভক্ত, একজন উত্তম ভক্ত কেমন ব্যবহার করে, তার মনের অবস্থা কেমন, এটা যদি জানতে পারি তাহলে কি হবে আমাদের, আমরাও চেষ্টা করব যে ওরকম গুণাবলী, কোয়ালিটি আমাদের মধ্যে আসুক, তাই না? এতে কি হবে? What is the relation with all these qualities with spiritual life and bhakti? These virtues or qualities are support of our core spiritual practice. Core spiritual practice. In bhakti, our core spiritual practice is japa, dhyana, puja, chanting, singing. But thus we need support for these core spiritual practices. Imagine we are sitting for meditation, but our mind is disturbed about someone told me today, about something someone did to me, about someone's inappropriate behavior, and compare that with someone who is sitting for meditation with a calm and serene mind, whose meditation will be better, whose progress will be better. So these supporting qualities we find not only in bhakti yoga, in all the paths. Those who practice, say, Raja Yoga or Patanjali Yoga, the main practice is dharana, dhyana, samadhi. But before that, there is yama and niyama, all the qualities. In Jnana Yoga too, the core practice is Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, hearing the truth, thinking about the truth and meditating on the truth. But before that, there are so many other virtues, sadhana chatushtaya, right? So in all the paths we see that in addition to the main practice, there are some supporting practices which help us in the main practice. Not only that, if we progress in our main practice, these supporting qualities becomes natural. That is, they are complementary to each other. One support the other. The more we progress as a devotee, as a spiritual aspirant, these qualities naturally come in our life. At the same time, if we practice these qualities, our core spiritual practice becomes more effective, more meaningful. We progress faster. So that is the utility of having this checklist ready for us. So three things I am talking about. One is how, as a devotee, we should deal with other people. Secondly, what should be our attitude to things, material things. Thirdly, how should we maintain our composure, our mental equilibrium under all circumstances. So these has practical values too. All right, and we should remember this checklist is for us to check our own progress, not others. Because one common mistake we do when we hear about these qualities, for example, when we know about rajasic quality, tamasic quality, sattvika quality, very often we try to measure others, judge others, whether they are sattvika, rajasika or tamasika. But they are not meant for judging others. They are meant to judging my own progress. So with that caveat, let's proceed to have a checklist how we can get an idea how we are progressing in our spiritual life. All right, so I have made it very easy for you. Remember, you should thank me. 39 virtues I am now reducing into only 3 categories. Okay, how to deal with people, how to deal with things, how to deal with circumstances. Okay. And at the end, I shall super simplify it for all of you. Super simplify. We don't have to remember all the 39 qualities Sri Krishna is speaking about. We would have to remember 3 words. Okay, 3 words. Super simplified. So first, how an ideal devotee deals with others, how they behave with others, what is their attitude to other people, and which is natural for them. Why? Because they have already realized God in themselves and see the same God in others. So what do they do? Adhyeshva sarva bhutanam maitri karuna evacha. Wonderful words. Adhyeshta sarva bhutanam. Desha means having animosity, unfriendliness, or harboring grudges against others. Ill feeling, negative feelings about others is called desha. Adhyesha means just opposite of that, not having any negative feeling, any animosity towards anybody. And adveshta means one who does not harbor any negative feelings, ill feelings, animosity for anybody. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. So a devotee, a true devotee, one who has realized God, they see God not only in them, God in others. So they cannot have animosity towards anybody. But for us, those who have not realized God yet, those who cannot see God in others, what should we do? We see people doing wrong things towards us, behaving inappropriately towards us, what we should do. So, and we cannot avoid that, meeting such people, having such people in our life. What should we do? So, instead of having a deep-rooted animosity or ill feeling towards others, the wise thing will be try to correct the person gently, if it is possible. If it is possible, that is, can we see the person that in the light of that their wrong behavior is result of different circumstances that the person has gone through in their life. All of us are products of our past samskaras and past experiences, past circumstances. If somebody is behaving wrongly with us, maybe that person has gone through different harsh environments or harsh unfavorable circumstances or situations which is making them behave like that. Last week, I watched here a wonderful news channel called PBS NewsHour, which is very balanced, trusted, and very credible news source. Each day I watch it for 40 minutes, each day an episode. Towards the end, they always show something positive. So just 3 days ago, I was seeing that one lady in Florida here, when she was a teenager, she was shot by gun by another man. She did not die, but she became paralyzed. So since the age of 13, she has been using wheelchair, and she has limited mobility and cannot do a job. So her dreams were shattered because she was shot by someone in a shopping mall. That person was sentenced to jail, and he has been sentenced to jail for life. Now, after 13 years, this lady started speaking about forgiving the person. forgive the person, that he has already been in jail, and what better life can be? What can he not also have a chance to live than living his life in the jail? So that lady started making this news known to all others. She became vocal about it, that let the person who shot me in the leg be freed from jail and given another chance. What a wonderful, and people heard about it, and ultimately they revisited the case, and that person was freed from jail, and they have become now friends, this lady and the person who shot her. She says that probably the way that person was, was brought up, probably the way the person grew made him what he was. He could not have done better probably, but I should give him a chance. I have forgiven him. So that is the beauty of having no animosity, ill feeling towards others. Because ultimately, having ill feeling hurts us the most. Who are most hurt affected by having ill feelings towards others? We who harbor the feeling. There is a story I think most of you might be knowing. A kindergarten teacher wanted to teach a wonderful lesson to the kids in her kindergarten school. She told, we shall do one exercise. The exercise is this. Take a plastic bag, a zipper bag, and take potatoes. As many potatoes, as many people you don't like. If you don't like one person, if you have animosity towards one person, take one potato and write his or her name on the potato and put it under the zipper bag, plastic zipper bag, and for the next 7 days, carry it all the time with you. So the kids, and not only all the time means when you come to school, when you go to bed, even when you go to the bathroom, carry that zipper bag. So the kids, innocent, so they brought zipper bags. Some had one potato, some had two, some had three, some had 5 potatoes, and then they also wrote the name of the person whom they don't like on the potato. So suppose I don't like 3 persons, I have 3 potatoes with their names written. So after 3-4 days, the kids started feeling, that potatoes, some of them are getting rotten and stinking, smelling bad. And someone who had 5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, the bag is heavy and we are carrying it all the time. So they were having trouble. They asked the teacher, Miss, we cannot do that exercise. The teacher said, no, 7 days, just 2 days more. So when the 7 days were over, then the teacher asked the students, how did you feel? They said, for a day, for a 2 day, it did not matter. After 3rd day, after 4th day, it started feeling horrible. Bad smell, potatoes, stinking potatoes, and also they are heavy weight. We are carrying all the time. So then the teacher said, this is the lesson. As many people we are having hatred towards, we are carrying that amount of weight in our heart. And the smell is actually affecting us. And for a spiritual aspirant, these things matter very much. we sit for japa, we sit for meditation, but very soon mind slips into thinking about people, those who have not done right to us. What can we do about that? So what we should do, it's not an easy thing. Indeed, it's not an easy thing. But can we look at the person, as I said, in the light of maybe their past we don't know. That is why they are behaving like that. And can we separate the person's behavior from the person? There is a person, but there is their behavior. I don't like that behavior. I don't approve of that behavior. But can I have good thought about the person? And that Sri Krishna says in the next two words, Maitraha Karuna Evacha. That is, having friendliness towards good people. People who are friendly, having friendliness, being friend to them. But Karuna, compassion, those who are behaving rudely, inappropriately, can we, instead of hating them, can we have compassion for them, karuna for them, that they don't know better, that's why they are behaving like this. What will happen is, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra we find one aphorism, how to make the mind tranquil. That is, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, Sukha, Dukha, Punna, Apunna, Vishayanam, Bhavanataha, Chitta Prasadanam. That is, there, why I am quoting this Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there commentator Vachaspati Mishra gives us the psychology behind this, how to have a tranquil mind. So Patanjali says, Maitri, being friendly to Sukha, that is, those who are happy people, let us be friendly to them. Okay. Then, those who are unhappy, going through difficult situations, circumstances, to them have compassion. Mudita. Mudita means joy. Joy. For whom? Those who are punya. That is, those are holy people. Those who are congenial people. Those who are trying to lead a spiritual life. Those whose company helps me in my spiritual life. For such a person, mudita, being glad to meet such person. Then, those who are apunya, that is, under apunya we can put all the people who are not behaving rightly with us, those who are giving us trouble. To them, upeksha, that is, trying to be indifferent to them, not having any mental transaction with them. Just to maintain a neutral state of mind with them. If we can do that, what happens? Mind, having animosity, having jealousy, all these are rajasic and tamasic quality of the mind, which is part of the fabric of the mind. But if we start practicing these things, what happens? This rajasic and tamasic nature of the mind starts becoming sattvika qualities. And when we have sattva in our mind, then mind becomes tranquil, lucid. Such a lucid mind is the greatest treasure for a spiritual aspirant. Because in our spiritual journey, what is the greatest treasure? What is the only treasure? What is the only wealth? Our mind. And if we have a mind which is balanced and lucid and tranquil, which does not harbor animosity, ill feeling towards others, with such a mind, when we shall sit for puja, we shall sit for japa, or when we can sit for meditation, we shall see that actually our mind is soaring high, naturally remaining at the feet of the Lord. That is the importance of practicing Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitri Karuna Evacha. So, what should be our checklist? The checklist is this: that indeed, through our day-to-day life, we shall meet different people, even our own people, whom we cannot avoid. They behave sometimes inappropriately towards us and hurt us without their knowledge. When we sit for meditation, can we pray so sincerely especially for them, so that they can be lifted up, and so that all the bad things they do to us, can we surrender all of these things at the feet of the Lord? And this is, in fact, let me tell you, a wonderful practice. Because what we cannot do as person, even if we have tried to correct that person gently, tried to make the person better, but even sometimes it may fail. At that time, if we can pray very sincerely for that person, that let the person have goodwill or understanding or wisdom, we shall soon start to feel that our own ill feeling toward the person has started to melt. It works in a very deep subconscious level. Because this heart, this animosity remain lodged at a very subconscious level. And those who know psychology, they know that subconscious mind is difficult to access consciously. They say that as it were, there is a doorkeeper sitting at the door of subconscious mind. As soon as you want to enter subconscious mind consciously, the doorkeeper will stand up and would not let you in. The trick to enter subconscious mind is without letting the doorkeeper know that we are entering it. And when we do sincerely pray for people who have done wrong to us, we are actually accessing our subconscious mind and purifying our subconscious mind without the knowledge of the doorkeeper. So the checklist will be: are we friendly to all the people? And those who are having difficult time, can we sympathize with them? Can we have compassion for them? And those who are difficult people to deal with, can we pray for them at the end of the day? Can we include them also in our prayer? This is natural for an ideal devotee. For us, this is a practice. So we find how to deal with our friends and people who are going through difficult times and people who are giving difficulty to us. Arjuna says, Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. Don't harbor animosity which will hurt yourself. And most importantly, hurt your own spiritual practices. Will be hindrance for your own spiritual progress. Can we do that? That is how they deal with other people. Second is how they deal with things, matter, and stuff. That is stuff, Vishaya. Vishaya we understand, Bengali and Sanskrit, Vishaya. Anything that is material and it gives us pleasure. How an ideal devotee deal with them, or what is their attitude for such thing? Sri Krishna says, Santushto yeno keno chit. And also he says, Santushto satatam yogi. that is a yogi, a spiritual aspirant, is always content, always contented in whatever they have, whatever things they have. Because things, the nature of the things are, there can be never an end. Never can be have an end to have contentment from them. For example, many of our devotees here purchase Tesla. Tesla is, a good car here, and as many people aspire for. And in California, many cars are Tesla. At least I would say every 3 cars in 10 cars is a Tesla. So devotees purchase Tesla and happily they say Tesla. I just tell them, tell me after 3 months your feeling about Tesla. After 3 months they say, not Tesla is nothing, no big deal. Probably I should have gone for the higher version of Tesla. Tesla has 4 versions. The higher versions of Tesla, Model S, Model Y, Model X, probably I should have gone for. Then I tell them, even after having the highest version, after 3 months, you will feel that you are not contented. You are not contented. So Sri Krishna says that an ideal devotee is always contented. Whatever they have, they try to be happy with that, content with that. Because there is a fine line between, what we need and what we want. And very soon, what we want, no more needed, but we want them. We want them. So as spiritual aspirants, those who want, let them have it. But as spiritual seeker, where our main goal is spiritual progress and ultimately illumination, we need to learn to be happy with bare minimum things which are absolutely essential. And also cultivate the abundance mindset. That is, there is abundance for all of us. Whatever is needed, we shall be given. God will give us whatever is needed for us. But if we want, the want has no end. The want has no end, and nobody can fulfill one person's want. In Mahabharata, there is a wonderful verse that if the entire wealth of the wealth of the entire world is brought to a village, that won't be sufficient to meet the want of people. But there is enough for all of us to meet our needs. For needs, mostly all of our devotees, all the devotees have their needs met, and sometimes mysteriously, very mysteriously. And it helps when we see people like that, it encourages us. I remember the monastery I joined. There, after some time, a monk came to our monastery. He was posted from one center to our center. So when he came, I saw he came with a small bag, this small bag. And what he had in that bag, he had one gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and two pairs of Gerua clothes with him. So I asked, where is your luggage? This is my luggage. This is my luggage. Gospel and 2 sets of dhoti. And as he kept staying with us, with time I saw he used to read a lot. People came to know and they started giving him books. So his room became filled with books. And other things like sweater for a winter or socks, all of them were given to him. And after a few years, he was being transferred to another center as the head of another center. And at that time I noticed he pulled out his small bag, the 1 gospel and 2 sets of dhoti. I said, is that all? He said, look, I came with this thing And this is what I need. And as you saw, all the things came by the grace of the God. And this is what we need to learn, how we can be content with basic minimum things. As you know, in the introduction, Minadi told that I am interested in psychology, especially positive psychology. And I read a lot of modern books on positive psychology, which is the latest branch of psychology that explores how one can become happy and happy, how we can become more happy. Science of happiness, you may say. And if you boil down all their findings, this comes to this. The less is your want, happier you are. Less is your want, happier you are. Our happiness is inversely proportional to our wants. So that is what Sri Krishna is speaking here. What an ideal devotee should do. Santushto yeno kenochit. Whatever we have, we are content with. Santushto satatam yogi. Practice, learn to be contented with whatever we have. So, what will be our checklist? That we are content with things, that in the evening, in the meditation when I sit, how much I am thinking about things. This needs to be done, this needs to be purchased, these material things. Or how frequently I am thinking about things and matter and objects of enjoyment. That is a checklist for us. So first checklist about people was, can I be friendly to all the people? Can I become compassionate to people who are suffering? And can I include the difficult people in my prayer? That is a test that we are progressing. As human beings, as an ideal devotee should behave to people. This about material things, the checklist should be how often in the day, how many times, how frequently, and how intensely I am thinking about things, a TV, a car, a better mobile phone, cellular phone, how frequently I am thinking about. That will be a test, second checklist. And third checklist is how an ideal devotee maintain their mind, or what is their attitude, what is their state of mind under different circumstances, whether favorable or unfavorable. What is their state of mind? Sri Krishna says, Samasatrau cha mitre cha tatha mana apamanayoho shitasno sukhe dukkheshu samaha tullo ninda stuti mauni. That is, an ideal devotee is having an equilibrium mind, a state of equilibrium, an even mind, a composed mind, whether it is somebody is praising me or somebody is criticizing me, whether it is a pleasurable circumstances or unpleasurable circumstances, whether I am going through a difficult time or is a good time. An ideal devotee maintains a equilibrium of mind, a evenness of mind. How they can do that? Because they have found such a thing called God, which is, I call, the spiritual center of gravity. Spiritual center of gravity. If we have a spiritual center of gravity, what happens, no matter what happens to us, whether it is favorable or unfavorable, very soon we return to our spiritual center of gravity. Things disturb us for a while, but we soon return to our spiritual center of gravity. And an ideal devotee has such a spiritual center of gravity in their heart. And that is why I often think that in our spiritual tradition, we are advised to meditate in our heart center. heart center. That is our spiritual center of gravity, so that we can very often return to our spiritual center of gravity. Swami Bhuteshanandaji, who was one of our presidents, many of you know, was an illumined person and also very wise. So, and Swamis in Belur Math, in the morning after breakfast, used to gather around him, ask him different questions, and very lucidly he would explain the difficult and profound truths of spirituality. He said, the goal, the effect of all the spiritual practices that devotees do, what is the goal? What is the goal? Make us bobo doll. Bobo doll? There are some kind of dolls, plastic dolls, which has very heavy center of gravity. So you kick them, immediately they will stand up. You kick them, knock them, immediately they will pop out. Those are called bobo doll. Why they can easily come up, easily can come back to their original position? They have a heavy center of gravity. So a devotee, a spiritual aspirant, with time and the progress of time, we gradually develop our spiritual center of gravity, so that things, circumstances, people's behavior, yes, they disturb us. We get swayed. We rock for a while, but then again come back to our spiritual center of gravity. Sri Ramakrishna said wonderful thing about this, that a devotee's boat is like a big ship. There are small boats and large boats and ships. So when small boats, when they go through the Ganga, and if there is a big wave, the small boats tussle, and as if they will be toppled or even may capsize. But a devotee's boat is like a ship. No matter what kind of circumstances come, it really rocks for a while, it gets disturbed for a while, but very soon come back to its center of gravity, spiritual center of gravity. That is what Sri Krishna is speaking here about, an ideal devotee, which is a goal for all of us, a practice for all of us. And what should be the checklist that we are making progress in that? This way, that in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 12, in many other chapters too, Sri Krishna gives us example of ideal spiritual aspirant, those who have reached their goal. Sri Krishna gives these examples to show us that what is natural for them is practice for us. And if we practice them, what happens is our real spiritual practices, whether it is puja, whether it is bhajan, whether it is japa, whether it is dhyana, they become much more effective. They bear fruit quickly. And in Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, Sri Krishna gives 39 virtues, 39 traits of an ideal devotee. These 39 virtues I tried to simplify by dividing them, in putting them under 3 categories, that how an ideal devotee should deal with people. Not only deal, what should be their innermost attitude to different types of people. Checklist is whether I am friendly to all of them, whether I can feel for the suffering of others, and whether I can include in my prayer those people who are difficult to deal with, and can I sincerely pray for their well-being. This is one checklist. Second category is, if we organize them, is how an ideal devotee is happy with whatever they have under every circumstances, with things, about stuff. Can we be content, try to be content with things we have, And the checklist is how frequently I am thinking about things and stuff like mobile phone, like car, a new car, or a new television, or new refrigerator. How often I am thinking about that. That is a checklist. Third one, different circumstances, unfavorable circumstances, upsetting circumstances, or somebody criticizing me, how I am reacting, how frequently I am reacting, how intensely I am reacting, and how long I am remaining upset. These are the checklist. And we need examples, If we keep an example before us, that inspires us indeed. So Holy Mother Sarada Devi is such an example who exhibited all these qualities in her life. Whether good people, difficult people, not so nice people, she was loving to all of them. Many people gave her trouble in her lifetime, her own family members, own relatives, but we see Holy Mother embracing all of them. How an ideal devotee should deal with people. Things, Holy Mother most of the time lived in utter poverty. Situations, things, and which we cannot even imagine of such circumstances. There were times after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away when Holy Mother could not have full meal, but she never complained. She was happy, content with whatever she had. Not only that, when she went to visit South India, the king requested her to come to the temple store, which was full of jewels and golds and diamonds, and said, you can take anything from it. Anything you wish you can take. Even a thought of getting something did not cross Holy Mother's mind. So even in dire poverty, and even when there is lure of rich, Holy Mother was happy, content all the time. And circumstances we see at some period of her life, people were regarding her as goddess. But sometimes she was going through phases where there was nobody to take care of her. But all through this, she maintained her spiritual center of gravity. So life like this is example. If we read life like this, we get inspiration. We find that yes, we may not be able to exhibit that type of qualities, but we can progress little by little. And also, if we read these verses daily and contemplate on their meaning, gradually these values, virtues start becoming our guiding principles. And another thing we can do, we can contemplate or meditate that as it were, Jano, we have these qualities. That is, imagine yourself as someone who is Adveshta Sarva Bhujanam. Jano ami kauke karo proti amar kono desh nei. Amar সবার প্রতি করুণা এবং সবার প্রতি বন্ধুত্ব। যেন মনে মনে কল্পনা করি, মনের চক্ষুতে কল্পনা করি, as it were I am such a person. As it were I am a yogi who is happy all the time. If we can do that, as I told, that is also working with our subconscious mind. We are creating those qualities, going deep, assimilate within ourselves and deep within. And finally, we can pray to the Holy Trio, Thakurma and Swamiji, that they give us these virtues so that not only we become a blessings to the world, blessing to others, but as a spiritual aspirant, we also progress fast in our journey, spiritual journey, and reach the goal in this whole life. I pray to Holy Trinity that may they grant us a bit of these qualities in our life, a bit, and make our spiritual journey smooth and fast so that we can reach the goal in this very life. And finally, thank you all of you, those who have joined. I said I would try to speak in Bengali, but I almost forgot. I was carried away by the idea itself. I forgot to switch language. Okay, so forgive me for that. But if you, I don't know if you have they have question or not. I can take a few questions. Are you moderating? Someone is moderating the questions, or I have to take the questions directly? Okay. Okay, let me see. Anirban, can I ask one question? Unmute করে কোশ্চেন করতে পারেন, আর ভিডিও অন করতে পারেন, আমি দেখতে পারি কে অনির্বাণ। হ্যাঁ, নমস্কার, বলুন, কোশ্চেন বলুন। নমস্কার
মহারাজ। মহারাজ, একটাই কথা জিজ্ঞাসা ছিল যে এই স্পিরিচুয়াল প্রগ্রেসে আমাদের মাঝে মধ্যে একটা দ্বন্দ্ব হয়, কি করে বুঝবো যে এটা ঈশ্বরের ইচ্ছায় হচ্ছে না আমার ইচ্ছায় হচ্ছে? মানে ধরুন ভালো কোনো কাজ, ঠাকুরের স্থানে গেলাম বা ঠাকুরের কোনো কাজ করলাম, তখন মনে হলো ঠাকুরের ইচ্ছা এটা হলো। আবার নিজের ইচ্ছায় যদি কোনো ধরুন একটা বাড়ি কিনলাম বা কোনো নিজের ইচ্ছায় কোথাও একটা হয়তো খেতে গেলাম, তখন একটা দ্বন্দ্ব হয়ে যায়, এটা কি ঠাকুরের ইচ্ছায় হলো নাকি এটা আমি ঠাকুরের ইচ্ছার উপরে চাপিয়ে দিলাম? এই একটা দ্বন্দ্ব চলতে থাকে। এটা
ঠিক বলেছেন। এটা হচ্ছে, আমি এটা ফলো করি, যত ভালো জিনিস হচ্ছে আমি মেনে নিই ঠাকুরের ইচ্ছায় হচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে তো। আর যত খারাপ জিনিস হয় আমি মেনে নিই এটা আমারই ভুলে হয়েছে। কারণ আমাদের তো এখনো অব্দি টোটাল সারেন্ডার আসেনি, আমরা বুঝতেও পারি না কোনটা আমার ইচ্ছায় হচ্ছে কোনটা ঠাকুরের ইচ্ছায় হচ্ছে। কিন্তু আমি দেখেছি যে আমরা যদি একটু সেন্সিটিভ থাকি, একটু জাগরুক থাকি, দেখবো অনেক জিনিস, আপাতত আমি তো প্রায়ই দেখি যে বহু জিনিস আপাতত খারাপ বলে মনে হচ্ছে, আলটিমেটলি দেখা যায় ওটা ভালো ভালো জিনিস হয়ে দাঁড়ালো। তখন আমি ভাবি যে ঠাকুরের ইচ্ছাতেই এসব হয়েছে, ঠাকুরই এরকম চ্যালেঞ্জ হিসেবে এনেছে আমার সামনে, অ্যাকসেপ্ট করেছিলাম বলে তার ভালো ফল হচ্ছে, যেটা ভাবতেও পারিনি এরকম হবে। হ্যাঁ,
মহারাজ আমার প্রণাম নেবেন।
নমস্কার।
হ্যাঁ, প্রণাম মহারাজ। বলছি যে আপনি যে ওই পটেটো গল্পটা বললেন কিন্ডারগার্টেনের, ওটা আমার একটু নেটের প্রবলেমের জন্য আমি ওটার মানে গল্পটা শুনেছি, কিন্তু ওটার যে শিক্ষণীয় বিষয় সেটা আমি ঠিক ধরতে পারিনি। ওটা কি আর একবার একটু?
হ্যাঁ, শিক্ষণীয় বিষয় হচ্ছে, ধরুন এই আমরা আলু নিলাম, তো আলু প্লাস্টিকের প্যাকেটে নিলাম, তার মানে হচ্ছে ওই এক একটা করে আলু মানে এক একজন করে শত্রু, যাকে আমার পছন্দ নয়, ঠিক আছে তো, যাকে আমার ভালো লাগে না। এক একটা আলু মানে এক একজন শত্রুর সিম্বল। তো যত যত লোক থাকবে আমার জীবনে যাদেরকে আমার ভালো লাগবে না, তো তত ভারী হবে আমাদের এই প্যাকেটটা, সেই ভার আমাদেরকেই বহন করতে হবে। এবং এই যে অন্যের প্রতি যে একটা খারাপ অ্যাটিটিউড বা অ্যানিমোসিটি বা বিদ্বেষ, সেই বিদ্বেষের দুর্গন্ধ আলুর দুর্গন্ধের মতো আমাদেরকেই সাফার করতে হবে। আমরাই আসলে এর সবচেয়ে বড় সাফার করব, অন্যের কিছু হবে না। এটাই হচ্ছে শিক্ষণীয় বিষয়।
হ্যাঁ মহারাজ, এবারে বুঝতে পেরেছি। আর আমার ভক্তিপূর্ণ প্রণাম নেবেন। খুব মানে খুব সুবিধা হলো আমার, কারণ হচ্ছে যে আমি কিছুদিন ধরে এই সিচুয়েশনটার মধ্যে দিয়ে যাচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ, খুব ভালো লাগলো। এবারে বুঝতে পারলাম আমাকে কি করতে হবে। অনেক ধন্যবাদ আপনাকে।
হ্যাঁ, নমস্কার।
মহারাজ প্রণাম।
হ্যাঁ নমস্কার।
হ্যাঁ মহারাজ, বলছি যদি কখনো রাগ হয় তা সেটা কি মানে কন্ট্রোল করতে পারছি, কিন্তু খুব রাগ হয়ে যাচ্ছে, তখন আমরা কি করবো? সেই সিচুয়েশনটা কি?
হ্যাঁ, তখন হয়তো কি, যদি আমি জানি এই জিনিস থেকে রাগ হয়, যদি সম্ভব হয় ওই জিনিস থেকে দূরে সরে যাওয়া, ফর দ্য টাইম বিং, অ্যাভয়েড করা। ধরুন কোনো কারো ব্যবহারে আমি জানি এর ব্যবহারে আমার সবসময় রাগ হয়, তো যখনই দেখবো এরকম সিচুয়েশন আসতে চলেছে আমি অ্যাভয়েড করবো এরকম সিচুয়েশন। হ্যাঁ, চলে যাব, সরে যাব, বা ইন্টারাকশন শর্ট করে দেবো। হ্যাঁ,
বা কথাটা মানে যে কথাটা আমার বলার সেটা আমি বলবো না, তখন থেমে যাব না?
হ্যাঁ, সিচুয়েশন যখন ইমপ্রুভ করবে তখন বলবো। হ্যাঁ, কারণ লাভ হবে না বলেও শুধু রাগই হবে। সেই ওটাকেই বলছে ওই পতঞ্জলি বলছেন উপেক্ষা। উপেক্ষা মানে ওই সময়টুকুর জন্য এটা অ্যাভয়েড করার চেষ্টা করা সিচুয়েশনটাকে।
আচ্ছা, যদি আমি দেখছি যে কোনো মানুষ, আমি আমার পুরোটুকু কাজ দিচ্ছি কিন্তু সে আমাকে পছন্দ করছে না কোনো কারণে, আমার দোষ নেই কিন্তু সে করছে না পছন্দ, তখন আমি কি করব?
তাহলে আমাদের ঠাকুর ভালো কথা বলেছেন যে দেখুন যে কয়েকবার চেষ্টা করা উচিত সবার সাথে মিলেমিশে থাকার, তারপরেও যদি দেখা যাচ্ছে না তখন ছেড়ে দেওয়া উচিত। কারণ এই তো কম সময়, আমাদের জীবন তো এইসবই ভাববো নাকি ঈশ্বরকে নিয়ে ভাববো, তাই না? আলটিমেটলি ওইটাই আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য, ওইটাই আমাদের প্রায়োরিটি। সুতরাং আমরা চেষ্টা করবো সবার সাথে বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ সম্পর্ক রাখার, হাত বাড়িয়েও দেব, চেষ্টাও করব। এরপরেও যদি দেখি হচ্ছে না, তখন ঠাকুর বলছেন তাহলে ছেড়ে দেওয়া উচিত, অত বেশি ভাবা উচিত না। ঠিক আছে? তো তখন ভাবতে হবে যে এই মন ঈশ্বরকে দেব নাকি এইসব বিষয়ে ব্যস্ত রাখবো।
মহারাজ কথামৃততে যেমন ঠাকুর বলেছেন যে কোনো লোক তাদের সঙ্গে অনেক বেশি আলাপ আলোচনা করা যায়, কথা বলা যায় বেশি করে, আর অনেক লোক আছে 7 হাত দূর থেকে নমস্কার, কি ভালো আছেন, ব্যাস রাস্তা ধরা। তো আমাদের মানে লোক বিশেষেও আমাদের ব্যবহারটা ওরকম হলে তাহলে আমরা ওই ক্ষমা করে দেওয়ার ব্যাপারটা কি করে হবে?
তাদেরকে ক্ষমা করার দরকার নেই। হ্যাঁ, তো মনে মনে ক্ষমা করব, মনে মনে ক্ষমা করব তাদেরকে, মনে মনে তাদের প্রতি করুণা রাখবো, কিন্তু জানবো যে আমি এখনো ওরকম অবস্থায় পৌঁছইনি যে সবাইকে আমি আলিঙ্গন করতে পারবো। এবং তাদের থেকে দূরে রাখার উদ্দেশ্য এই কারণেই, কাছে গেলেই পরেই দেখা যাবে কনফ্লিক্ট বাড়ছে। দূর থেকে আমি কনফ্লিক্টটা এড়াতে পারি, কিন্তু কাছে গেলে দেখা যাবে কনফ্লিক্ট হবে, কথা বললে কনফ্লিক্ট হবে, তাতে আমারও মাইন্ড ডিস্টার্ব হবে, আর তাতে কোনো উপকারও হবে না। ঠিক আছে? ক্ষমাটা মনে মনে করতে হবে।
মাথায় রাখা যাবে না, কার কেউ যদি খারাপও ব্যবহার করে
সেটাকে ভেতরে, খুব ভেতরে রাখা যাবে না। সেটাকে যত ভেতরে রাখবো, যত পুষে রাখবো, ততই আমাদের নিজেদেরই ক্ষতি। হ্যাঁ, নিজেদেরই ক্ষতি।
মহারাজজি প্রণাম।
নমস্কার।
রতন সরকার, দিল্লি থেকে বলছি।
বাহ।
মোটামুটি প্রশ্ন উত্তরে আমারও যে মনের জিজ্ঞাসা ছিল তার মোটামুটি উত্তর পেয়ে গেছি মহারাজ। আমার প্রশ্নটা ছিল এইটাই, যেহেতু এটা সারদায় নারীদেরই মেনলি, আজকালকার দিনে যেটা দেখা যায় প্রায়শই, যে বিশেষ করে হাজব্যান্ড ওয়াইফদের মধ্যে ভায়োলেন্সিটা খুব বেশি বেড়ে গেছে, এবং সব থেকে কাছের জন হওয়া সত্ত্বেও দেখা যাচ্ছে হাজব্যান্ড ওয়াইফের মধ্যে যে সম্পর্কটা খুবই তিক্ততার মধ্যে দিয়ে চলতে থাকে, এবং এক এক সময় মনে হয় যে হয়তো যে এটা কি করে পূরণ করা সম্ভব। হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু এটাও নয় যে এমন একটা রিলেশন যে এর থেকে বেরিয়ে যাওয়া, সংসারে থেকে অ্যাটলিস্ট সেটা সম্ভব নয়। তা সেক্ষেত্রে কিভাবে এটাকে, হ্যাঁ অনেক সময় হয়তো টলারেন্স করে যাওয়ার যতটা সম্ভব করা যায়, কিন্তু সেটারও তো একটা লিমিটে গিয়ে এটা মানে বাস্ট করে যায় তখন সেই জায়গাটায়।
এটা খুব ইজি সলিউশন নেই, এটা ইজি সলিউশন নেই। বিকজ কারণ কি, অন্যদেরকে অ্যাভয়েড করা যেতে পারে, কিন্তু একই বাড়িতে একসময় সবসময় আছি, কিভাবে অ্যাভয়েড করব, তাই না? তো চেষ্টা করতে হবে, কঠিন, এটা সত্যি খুব কঠিন। চেষ্টা করতে হবে যে ওই যদি আমরা প্রার্থনা করি সকাল সন্ধে, তার জন্য প্রার্থনা করি যে এখন কি ব্যাপারটা এরকমই হচ্ছে না, আমি ভাবছি যে ভুলটা তো তারই, তো সেই জায়গা থেকেই আমাকে এগোতে হবে। তো আমি যেন প্রার্থনা করতে পারি যে ভুল, আর অন্যজন যে ভুল করছে, ঈশ্বর যেন তাকে এই
শুভ বুদ্ধি দেয়,
হ্যাঁ শুভ বুদ্ধি দেয়, তাকে আরো উপরে তুলে নেয়, যাতে নাকি ধীরে ধীরে তার এই উইজডমটা আসে যে এগুলো ভুল হচ্ছে। কারণ কি এটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি কি হবে, দুটো হবে। একটা তো আপনি মনে শান্তি পাবেন, মানে যে প্রার্থনা করছে তার মনে একটা শান্তি হবে। প্রথম হবে না, প্রথম খুবই মেকানিক্যাল মনে হবে, কিন্তু ধীরে ধীরে ওটা ন্যাচারাল হবে। আর 2 নম্বর হবেই হবে, দেখবেন যার জন্য প্রার্থনা করি না আমরা, তার মধ্যে সত্যি সত্যি চেঞ্জ হয়, আনএক্সপ্লেনেবল। এটা তার অজান্তেই তার মধ্যে চেঞ্জ হওয়া শুরু হয়। এটা একটা অদ্ভুত ব্যাপার। এটা নিয়ে অনেক এক্সপেরিমেন্ট হয়েছে। ইনফ্যাক্ট আমেরিকাতেও বহু সায়েন্টিফিক এক্সপেরিমেন্ট হয়েছে যে অন্যের জন্য আমি প্রে করি না, আমি যদি আপনার জন্য প্রে করি, আপনি যদি নাও জানেন, আপনার মধ্যে মেজারেবল ডিফারেন্স দেখা যায়, হেলথ থেকে শুরু করে সবকিছু। এখানে ইউ.এস তে বহু এরকম রিসার্চ হয়েছে, ইফেক্ট অফ প্রেয়ার। তো আমরা স্পিরিচুয়াল অ্যাসপিরেন্ট, সাধক, ভক্ত হিসেবে আমার মনে হয় এটা সবচেয়ে বেস্ট অপশন, যে তার জন্য প্রার্থনা করা। এবং এটা অত সোজা না, মুখে বলছি বটে, কিন্তু অত সোজা না, এটা কঠিন জিনিস
না। এই ব্যাপারে আমার মনে এটাও আছে যে ঠাকুর তো মাস্টার মশাইকে যখন বলেছিলেন যে মাস্টার মশাইয়ের হাজব্যান্ড ওয়াইফের মধ্যে যেমন অশান্তি ছিল, এবং মাস্টার মশাই যখন সেই কথা ঠাকুরের কাছে উল্লেখ করেছিলেন, ঠাকুর বলেছিলেন যে এমন স্ত্রীকে ত্যাগ করে দাও। প্রথমে বলেছিলেন ত্যাগ করে দাও, তারপরে মাস্টার মশাই যখন চমকে উঠেছিলেন, এবং সেইটাতে ঠাকুর একটু পরে আবার বলেছিলেন যে দেখো, যদি ঈশ্বরের প্রতি ভক্তি থাকে এবং তার শরণাপন্ন হয়, তাহলে তুমি সব ঠিক হয়ে যাবে, সময় হয়ে যাবে। হ্যাঁ, সে কথাটা তো মনে থাকেই। আর পেটটাও অবশ্যই করি, বা এটা উত্তরোত্তর বাড়াতে হবে, কিন্তু সাথে সাথে ওই চেষ্টাটাও করি যে এটাকে কিভাবে আর কি নিজেকে কুল রেখে কিভাবে আর কি এটাকে ট্যাকল করা যেতে পারে। কিন্তু ওই অপোজিট সাইড থেকেও একটু যদি আর কি এটা থাকে যে সফটনেস, তো হয়তো কালে কালে সেটা অনেকটা উপকারে আসবে।
হ্যাঁ, অনেক সময় কি হয় যে আপনি অপোজিট সাইড থেকে হয়তো একই কথা ভাবছেন, তাই না? অনেক সময় কি হয়, আমরা তো বুঝতে পারি না যে আমাদেরও ভুল আছে। আমিও তো পারফেক্ট নই, তো আমারও নিজেকে চেঞ্জ করার চেষ্টা করতে হবে। কিন্তু আমরা বায়াস থাকি, আমরা ভাবি যে আমরাই ঠিক আছি, যত ভুলটা অন্য দিক থেকেই হচ্ছে। হয়তো তার কাছ থেকে স্টোরিটা শুনলে দেখা যাবে সে একই কথা ভাবছে, যে ঈশ্বর ওকে শুভবুদ্ধি দিক, তাই না? এটাও হতে পারে।
মানে আত্মবিশ্লেষণও করতে হবে, তাই তো?
হ্যাঁ, নিশ্চয়
আত্মবিশ্লেষণটা অবশ্যই দরকার।
ঠিক।
ধন্যবাদ মহারাজ।
হ্যাঁ, নমস্কার।